This is my cheeseburger with onion rings and homemade tomato sauce.
You will need minced beef, brioche burger buns, iceberg lettuce, gherkins, Monty Jack cheese, and American burger cheese, and for the onion rings, lager, flour, yeast, and onions. And for our homemade ketchup, tomatoes, shallots, garlic, maple syrup, and Worcestershire sauce. So let's start with the ketchup. Take a pan and put on the heat, add some olive oil. I'm going to take a shallot and finely dice. Now I'm using a shallot because it's going to be a bit sweeter than an onion. I'm going to start cooking them off, just sweating them down without any colour. And some garlic, and just chop through. Add a touch of salt, and this is going to act as an abrasive, just to get a nice puree. Add to the pan. And after about 5 minutes, add your tinned tomatoes, Worcestershire sauce, and maple syrup. And with the back of the spoon, just start to break the tomatoes up a bit. Now you get the sweetness from the shallots, and of course the maple syrup, which is just a lovely natural ingredient to use. And after 30 to 40 minutes, look at this. It's reduced down to just a lovely, thick ketchup consistency. And you'd never get this from a jar. And that's our ketchup made. Let's move on to the onion rings. So for the batter, some plain flour, yeast, and a pinch of salt. Take a whisk, and get rid of any lumps and get some air into it. And then just pour in the lager, a bit at a time. And the lager and the yeast are going to make this batter lovely and fluffy. Just keep stirring until you have no lumps at all. And then rest for about an hour. Right, the onions. And I want nice, thick rings. Push the middle out, put the onions on a tray, and with the onions cut, let's get that batter. And you can see, it's a lovely, gooey texture. And that's the yeast and the lager working. Get some flour and dust the onions. Give them a nice mix. And then drop into the batter. And let's go and get these cooking. Now the fryer's on 170 degrees Celsius, roughly 340 degrees Fahrenheit. And just keep them moving. And after about 4 to 5 minutes, we have got lovely, crispy onion rings. So now let's move on to the burger. I've got some beef mince here, and it's a mixture of chuck, neck, and shin. And for me, the secret of it is to touch it as little as possible and mould it very quickly to roughly the size of the bun. I've got a very hot griddle here. I'm not going to put any oil onto it because I don't want to catch fire to the place. So a good tip is I'm just going to pour some oil onto my hands and then rub into the patties. And then place the burgers away from you onto the griddle. And if you've wondered why I've not seasoned it, it's because I'm going to season it as I go along. Take some salt and some pepper, and let's have a check. And you can see they're starting to colour already. Then after 2 minutes, turn over and season the other sides. So I'm going to cook my burgers medium. And with this thickness, I'm looking for about 3 to 4 minutes each side. Let's add the cheese. So I'm going to take 2 slices of the Monty Jack, double burger, and some American burger cheese. And I want this cheese to melt quickly. And the best way to do that is with a cloche. So I've got a saucepan, take some water, and the steam inside is really going to help melt that cheese. And it's not going to take long at all. And there we go. Just going to rest that there. One of the most important things is the bread. And this is a brioche burger bun. Perfect. I'm just going to brush it with melted butter. And then onto the griddle. And it really doesn't take long. Just quickly turn over. And now, let's build the burger. So some mayonnaise and some iceberg lettuce. Some of this lovely homemade tomato ketchup. And then last of all for me, gherkins. Love that pickle taste. I think it just goes so well with the meat. Now that looks like a burger to me. And with the remaining ketchup, onion rings, and then last of all, the cheeseburger. And there we are, my cheeseburger, onion rings, and homemade ketchup. I'm going to serve it with just a simple vanilla milkshake. Milk, ice cream, and I've popped a vanilla pod in the top. Right, let's taste it. I think the brioche bun is so important. Difficult to track down, but well worth it. And then the meat, just simply cooked and seasoned as I went along. Crunchy onion rings, a really sweet tomato sauce which works so well. Perfect burger. Some spring onions. And I've got some of these lovely pickled walnuts. Going to get a real sharp vinegary flavour, which really helps add acidity to the salad. So now let's get ready to fill this. My first layer is going to be potatoes, onion and cheese.
I'm seasoning each layer as we go with a little salt and pepper.